And welcome to my little broadcast for today. So we're going to talk about some quick tips on how to pronounce Khmer. Now, I would not call myself fluent in Khmer, although a lot of Cambodians think that I can speak a lot of Khmer. And if I'm in a restaurant or I'm even in the countryside, I can speak what I know, and I can communicate with someone who doesn't speak any English, and get along fine. Generally, they're gonna figure out that I kind of have a baby talk style, so to speak, and so they kind of dumb down their Khmer so that I can understand the few words. I mean, they figure out what I can and cannot say, and understand. So I get along all right. And plus hand gestures and stuff, always helps. You kind of make up your own little sign language kind of thing. And anyway, but for speaking Khmer, people have a lot of problems, especially English speakers, okay? And this is primarily for English speakers, because the first tip is to understand that the Khmer language written into the Latin alphabet or Roman alphabet was done by the French during the French Protectorate, okay? And so that means they used French rules, French grammar rules, spelling rules, when they were writing words, okay? So for example, there is a street called Sotero, and they spell it with an S on the end, okay? So everybody English speaking, or who's in Cambodia, even if they're not a native English speaker, but they're using English as their common language, they're going to pronounce it Soteros, or there's a TH, so Theros. But it's not the T and the TH. They're different in how you pronounce it, but I'm not too clear on what to do about that. But it's never TH. It's still a T. I think one's pushed out more than the other one. So Soteros is actually Sotero. And apparently, as I don't speak French, café au lait and crêpe jambon fromage. That's all you need to know. And merci beaucoup. Okay. Anyway, so apparently, when you put an S on the end of the word, it changes some other vowel sound. Okay. Kind of like in English, we have a silent E, right? And it changes. It usually will make a previous vowel into a long vowel as opposed to a short vowel. Okay. So all right, I understand it. But what it does, I don't know. So it really makes it difficult. If you see, or if you ask a Cambodian to spell the word, they're going to spell it the way that they know, which is this French way. Okay. For example, we have the word in English MEAN, and the second vowel A is making the E a long vowel, so it's just mean and mean girls or whatever. It means not nice, mean. But in Khmer, and this part, if you know it about the Khmer language, when they're writing it with the Khmer alphabet, then every sound, they write every sound. It is absolutely phonetic. Okay, so MEAN is pronounced Mian. So you pronounce the E and the A, Mian, and that means I have. Kanyam Mian Chma. I have a cat. Okay, so Mian. Anyway, so there's the French rules. That's the first tip. just understand and get over it that if you pick up some kind of like English Khmer dictionary, the way that they spell things is going to be according to the French rules. All right, number 2, ABCs. When we learn our ABCs, so in American English, all right, the A is A. C, A, T. K, A, T. Cat. Right? A. Well, in this case, it's like the British sound, where it's ah. So like a British pronunciation, or maybe Boston or East Coast or something, is that ah sound, caw. I'm not British. Go see Joel and Leah for that. Love them on YouTube. Shout out to Joel and Leah. Caw. Yeah, and so anyway, when Cambodians use an A, it's the ah sound, not the ah sound. All right. So be aware of that. Number 3, this is a really good one. This is a huge benefit for English speakers, and that is the Khmer language is not tonal. Now, if you don't know what the word tonal means, that means like you sing your song. You sing the language almost. So, I'll tell you, when I was in Thailand, actually was at a Starbucks in Thailand. I'm not a huge Starbucks person, but I happened to go into Starbucks and they had blueberry muffins on the menu. Now, you would think that they would train the staff to listen for different accents, right? And you're in an international chain, so people are going to ask for a blueberry muffin. Well, in Thai, even though it's like an English word, they go blueberry, blueberry. So if you say it any other way, it's different. Chinese, Vietnamese, you have the same sound, but you use a different tone for that sound. It changes the meaning, right? So Khmer is not tonal, which means people get different accents when they speak Khmer, being from different provinces. So we can say, in English, there's a Southern accent, there's a New York accent, there's a Midwest accent, and they also have accents. Okay. Not only do they have different accents, but they also have, they had four sub-languages. All right. You had the common everyday people language. You had the educated, or you may say bourgeois language, or upper class. So you could say lower class, upper class. That's probably not politically correct. So common language and educated language. Then you had the royal language, and you had the monk language. Okay. Technically, all 3 of these still exist. But what you've got right now, language evolves. Even English. Has anybody read Shakespeare? Do we speak like that anymore? No. But can we understand basically the meaning? Yes. Do we get all the nuances of the puns that he's writing? Probably not, unless you actually really study it. You can read Romeo and Juliet and kind of get the idea of what's happening. So anyway, the language evolves also like this. Okay. So it's kind of interesting. One thing that I've discovered is that a lot of the refugees that left were had that educated language, especially if they left before the Khmer Rouge. They had the educated language, and so apparently I didn't really realize this until I lived here, that when you have refugees leave and go to another country, they keep the customs and the culture of when they left. And that's what they remember of their country, and that's what they preserve. So, for example, in Long Beach, California, where you have the largest population of Cambodians outside of Cambodia, they speak that upper class language or that educated language. And then they come here to Cambodia, and what has evolved is a different language. It's not just the lower class language, or common language. It's actually kind of mixed up now. And plus, you've had a lot of things happen, a lot of technology, a lot of things, modern things that didn't exist in the 70s that exist. Smartphone. What are you going to call a smartphone? You didn't have smartphones in 1970 or 75. So there's a lot of additions to the language now. And okay, so all of this for this point is that don't get hung up on one way to say something, because when you learn how to say a word, you talk to your tuk-tuk driver and he says, "Oh, we pronounce this," and then banana or something, and then you go into a restaurant and you want a banana and you say it that way, and they say, "Oh, no, that's not how you say it. You say it this way." Because they're telling you a different variation. Different provinces have different ways of saying the same thing. And then also, depending on the primary language that was learned, you could also have a different way of saying something. My favorite example is the word sampot. Now, I say sampot, and that's a skirt, okay? It's a particular kind of Cambodian skirt. And I say sampot. Some people say samput. Okay, so sampot, the key thing here is going to be the M and the O. Sampot. Some people say samput. They keep the M, but they change the O to U. And some people take out the M and keep the U. So it's saput. So 3 ways of saying the same thing. Sampot, samput, saput. See, they're all very close. So if I'm in conversation and I'm talking about a skirt, so within the context, people understand what you're saying. Now, here's another trick about this. When you learn one way to say something, and then somebody's telling you a different way to say something, usually you're unsure. And you're kind of like, is this how you say this? Is this, sampot? And you're not sure, then they're going to correct you to whatever their way of saying it is. Oh, no, it's samput. Oh, no, it's saput. But if I talk with confidence and I say sampot, nobody questions me. They know what I'm saying, they get it, and they don't try to change me. Okay? And that's really good. The confidence factor is really important with, like, some vowel sounds are really hard to say. And there's some consonant sounds are really like the NG, it's like we always want to go ing. We want to, ing, ang, ang. We're putting a vowel in front of it. Okay? There's no vowel. It's just You just make the sound, like without ing or eng, without the vowel. You just have to make the consonant or diphthong or whatever, right? You just have to make that sound. But in any case, you can get by without pronouncing things exactly correctly within the context, because it's not tonal. Okay, there's a vowel sound like Hey, that's the dog wants to. Bye-bye. Be quiet, Popeye. So, I'm trying to think. Oh, hey, Popeye, James, can you stop? Sorry. So, oh yeah, thief and grandchild. Okay. So thief is really easy because it's an ow sound. Jow. If you scream jow, someone could actually die because a mob is going to chase them, and if they catch them, and you get your phone back, or you get your purse back, or you get your backpack back, or you get your camera back, then you're still, I mean, then the mob might actually beat that person to death. So it's not a word to use lightly. Like, oh, you're a thief. You know, someone cheats you on money, and you call them jow because they cheated you. That's, I mean, it's like worse than an insult in a way. I mean, like it's life or death when you use that word. Okay, jow. Now, grandchild is like this. Oh. It's like in English, it's like it's a disgusting sound in English, right? It's common to Cambodians. It doesn't sound disgusting to them, as though it's the language, right? And so it's like jiao, 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 jiao. You know, so I mean, I've learned over 11 years that I can say the difference pretty good, but that was like really hard. And then like duck umpo, that's sugarcane juice. Umpo is sugarcane. Duck is water. Duck umpo is sugarcane juice, right? The pumpkin, lepo, right? So there's these really, really hard. But if I say lepo instead of lepo, but I'm in the market and she's selling pumpkins, the context is going to be okay. So the whole non-tonal thing is a big plus. All right, just a couple more and then we'll be done. Silent endings. There are what I call silent consonants on the end of words. Okay, Cambodians can hear it. So T and K. So if I say and mak is mother, it's a real word, but mat, like with a T, is not. But there's two ways to use the consonants. One, like in English, where I would say mat and mac, or mot and mock, right? I call it pushing out the consonant sound. We say it, but they in the language, and you have to understand when they write it in Khmer, they write it for the sound that it's supposed to be, right? Which is this silent sound. So, for example, mat, mak, mat, mak. Someone's sending me. Ignore that. Mat, mak. So anyway, you can. I don't know if you can hear the difference if you're not Cambodian, but a Cambodian can hear. God, I hate that. I'm live. Go away. Okay. I hope that that he hears that message went through. Okay. So a Cambodian for sure can hear the difference. Mat, 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 mat. In my mouth, I'm making a T and I'm making a K. I literally can't hear the difference. They can hear the difference. So if you're talking to a tuk-tuk driver or a restaurant or a friend or somebody you meet or staff, you know, if you're teaching or a student, and they're telling you a word in Khmer and you're repeating it and repeating it and repeating it, and they're like, no, say it like this. No, say it like this. No, say it like this. 9 times out of 10, there's a silent letter at the end. And so then so after the first 2 or 3 times that you're not getting it, ask them how they spell it in the Roman alphabet or in the Latin alphabet, okay? And then you'll see if there's a T or a K or something on the end of the word. Remember, the S is silent, so that's not going to be the problem if there's an S on the end of the word. But usually it's a hard consonant like that. So then try saying it without pushing out the consonant, and then they'll go, yeah, that's it, you got it. Okay, one more, and then we're done, and that is spitting out vowels. That's what I call spitting. Again, in the Khmer language, when they write it, there is a symbol, there's a way to write it that is different for a strong emphasis on the vowel sound. So for example, you can say na, which is I'm not emphasizing the vowel sound, the A. It's just na, it's long. And then there's na. You have to say it fast. That's why I call it spitting it out. You have to spit it out. And like I say, when they write it in Khmer, there's a symbol or whatever, there's a way that you emphasize that. So that's another trick that sometimes they're actually putting that emphasis and they're going na, and you're saying na, 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 and they want you to make it shorter and more emphasis. So there you go. There's some quick tips on the Khmer language. I hope you enjoyed that. If it's been helpful to you, leave me a comment if you enjoyed that, and be sure to subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff. All right, until next time.